This is a PokePress Special Report.
Hi, I'm Stephen Reich here at the PokePress PIRN Studios in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm on the phone with Rich Walter, and we're going to be doing a co-review of the Pokemon Movie 14, that would be the Victini movies, Blu-ray that came out in Australia. Now, a little bit of explanation here. Blu-rays are divided up into regions A, B, and C, which is similar to the DVD scheme, but a little bit different. And although these discs from Australia are labeled as Region B, which normally doesn't play in North American Blu-ray players, the discs themselves, as far as I can tell, are region free. With the caveat that it turns out that they have PAL formatted video. PAL uses a different frame rate than NTSC, which is used in North America. And although the disc will play in your North American player region-wise, it's possible that your player or your TV might have some technical issues with being able to play the disc. So there's a little bit of risk involved. I actually ended up having to buy a new Blu-ray player. And so that's how that one worked out and what I had to do to get this to work. So Rich, first of all, you got a copy of this as well as me, and what was your first impression of the disc when you got the disc and such?
First of all, I'd like to say the packaging of it, for sure, was slightly nicer than the American version. They actually included a trading card in here, which hasn't been done in America since, I believe, the Lucario DVD. Overall, though, it was kind of standard as it came to Blu-rays. It seemed like they took what Viz did on DVD and combined it into one disc.
Yeah, that was one thing that was interesting to me as well, whereas the American DVD release was two separate discs, one for each movie. For this one, they put it on a single disc. It was probably dual layer, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. As far as your initial impressions booting it up, it starts off with a little trailer for Rival Destinies, which of course has been on TV here in America for a while, and then you get your choice on the menu of choosing either Pokemon the movie Black, Victini and Reshiram, or Pokemon the movie White, Victini and Zekrom. So Rich, which one did you pick to watch first?
I decided to go with Black. I picked Black because honestly, I believe the music in the white version was much better done. Whereas in the black one, I just didn't feel the music as much. It's kind of weird to say, but I wanted to get the black done first before I went to white.
Well, I went and saw Pokemon the movie White first, the version that was that has Zekrom in it, that was in theaters, just because that was my first frame of reference and I wanted to compare it. How was it different watching the movies on the Blu-ray than it was on the DVDs?
Definitely, it looked a lot nicer on the Blu-ray, of course, as most Blu-rays do. And the sound quality was way up, as usual.
So how do you think the picture and sound quality compares to some of the other Pokemon Blu-rays we've taken a look at over the last couple years?
Well, for sure, I believe this was a much higher quality than the other two, whereas this one was released in Blu-ray in Japan as well. The other ones were just ports over to, or transfers over to the Blu-ray.
Right, they started out as film versions, although actually the last couple in the Miramax quartet were done digitally, transferred to film, and then the film was transferred to Blu-ray, which is strange to say the least. But these were all digital, so it was, but one thing I did notice is that with the Blu-ray you can tell they did go for a little bit of a different art style, maybe a little more, I guess you could compare it to some of the earlier film look in terms of like the brushes or whatever they use digitally to animate it versus what they've been doing in the TV show. Would you agree with that, Rich?
I believe the movie quality is a lot better due to budgets and stuff, and they have a lot more time to allow them to animate the movie.
That's possible, too, that there were some time constraints, but I still think that the video, how it felt, for lack of a better term, seemed distinctly different from what was on the TV show, even though that's been in HD for several years now as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Now, one thing I mentioned earlier is that Pokemon the movie White, Victini, and Zekrom was shown in theaters as a one-weekend-only promotion last year. And I saw it in theaters in the Milwaukee area. You saw it at a different theater in the Milwaukee area.
Mhm.
How does seeing it in Blu-ray, which is pretty much the premier home format there is, how does that compare to the theatrical experience?
Honestly, when it comes to seeing movies, I always go to the theater over seeing it on Blu-ray. Just the movie experience, getting your popcorn, everything like that. It just can't defeat watching a Blu-ray at home.
I kind of have to agree that it doesn't quite replace the movie theater experience, but Blu-ray is probably as close as we're going to get. So I'm still very glad I imported this and we got a chance to take a look at it. Now, if Movie 15, which is scheduled to debut on Cartoon Network in December, comes out on Blu-ray, but again only in Australia, is this something you would consider importing for that one as well?
If I can find it for a reasonable price, of course I would.
Yeah, it is a little bit pricey, and it takes a little while for them to get here, but definitely think the improved quality is worth it. So, Rich, if you had to go and give this one a star rating, maybe on a 5-star scale, what would you give the Blu-ray set for these two movies?
I would probably have to give it a fairly good rating, probably a 4 out of 5, I'd say.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It would be nice if there were some additional extras, but since there aren't any of those really on the DVDs that came out in America either, 4 out of 5 does it for me as well. So thank you very much, Rich. Glad to have you on this review and glad you were able to share in the experience with me.
Not a problem, Steven. Thank you for having me.
This has been Stephen Reich from the PokePress PIRN Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, on the phone with Rich Walter, who, along with myself, have done a co-review of the Pokemon Movie 14, the Victini movies, Blu-ray that came out in Australia.
This has been a PokePress Special Report.